Hello everyone and welcome to SUTV Live. Sheffield United are heading for the seaside after Saturday's bump in the road at Coventry. A big reaction needed tonight at Blackpool, and you can watch it with us from 7:45. But there's plenty to come before then, including the all-important team news. We'll be hearing from Paul Heckingbottom and captain Billy Sharp. Plus, there's an exclusive interview with Kacper Lopata following his return from Southend. And we'll be dipping into the archives to revisit a classic match from this day 3 years ago. And don't forget to buy your match pass so you can enjoy tonight's game with us. All you need to do is head to the website sufc.co.uk. Hello once again, great to be back with you. Fingers crossed Sheffield United can get the right response at Blackpool tonight. We're hoping it's going to be a memorable trip. Kevin Gage, I'm sure, has had a few of those down the years. He's part of our team tonight. Good evening, Kevin. Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be here.
Feeling good about this one?
Feeling apprehensive about this one, Paul.
Apprehensive, that's fine, that's understandable. And also part of our team is Chris Morgan. Any memorable nights in Blackpool for you that you can share? No, OK, fair enough. Straight to the team news. Let's get to the team news, shall we? One change for Sheffield United. I'll save Morgs there. One change, Hourahan is out and Njai comes in. What do you make of that? Kevin, you first.
Well, it's whoever's fit gets a shirt, really, isn't it? At the moment, it's not real many options for the manager. It's a weird to see Njai and Gibbs White in the same side. I can understand why he's done it. Maybe just to pack the midfield out a bit more because we were lacking there on Saturday. But once again, I'm worried about Billy up there all by himself again, no support, and he just has to play game after game after game at the moment. I've read in the papers that Billy was happy to do so, and he's been in to see the manager, which is typical Billy. But you hope he can keep going.
Yeah. Do you think he'll play Njai in behind Sharp as a 10 along with Gibbs White? Will he play Njai alongside Billy? What do you reckon, Chris?
I think he'll start the game with Gibbs White and Njai both as like number 10s, playing as second centre forwards, but encouraging both of them to get forward as much as they can in support of Bill. I think we saw in the Forest game at home, I think Morg started up front and looked a little bit lost at times as a centre forward, trying to actually play that role. And then in the Middlesbrough game, started up top but did what he does best, just wandering, picking space up, getting the ball, turning. So I think certainly from Blackpool's point of view tonight, if you've got Njai and Morgs both doing that, then it's difficult. It'll be difficult for their defenders to pick up.
The other thing that stands out when you look at that team news is the bench, Kevin.
Yeah.
I mean, numerous teenagers on there and a new face as well, certainly on the bench. Nixon Gomes, who's a centre-back, 20, French, had a loan at Bradford Park Avenue this season, but you've got Arblaster on there, Jebison, Lopata and Asula. Hourahan is the only experienced player, outfield player that is, on the bench.
I mean, Connor will be looking around the bench and saying, I'm in the under-23s here, what's going on? Yeah, I mean, they're good players, don't get me wrong, they're good players. Asula, I've seen him in the under-23s and he is a powerhouse, a real powerhouse. And Gomez is just a good left-sided central defender. So no worries about them as players, but it's just good experience for them. Just they may or may not get on. Let's hope they don't have to get on at any stage. Let's hope, we've got a comfortable performance and they're not needed, but just good experience for the youngsters, and it's all part of their learning process.
Yeah, Sariki and McBurney, the two players who drop off the bench from the weekend. What do you make of that young bench?
I think,
is it a good experience for them?
I think it's great. I do. When you look at it, I think there's a lot of hard work goes on in the academy. Obviously Jack and Paul, they'll both know them all. They had them last year. Obviously Dell's carried the work on, and I'm a little bit the other way from Gage. I sort of think if they need to get on, then stick them on, because the good thing about the kids is that you never know about them until you try them, so we can have all these good young players. Is it ideal to be blooding them all at once? Possibly not, but there's injuries, so injuries, you've got to use the squad, you've got to use what's there. So them lads have been performing regularly in the 23s, and if they get the chance tonight, it's can you step up and can you go and do it?
There is a fearlessness, isn't there, about young players who are coming into the first team picture. I guess that's a positive. But we did see Sariki down here. And, without being unkind, it's his first taste really of proper men's football. I thought he struggled in that game. And, you know, it's probably difficult for him to come in and try and make an impression. But at the end of the day, if they're going to get experience, they're going to need an opportunity first and foremost.
I tend to agree with what Morgan says. I think I didn't want it to sound as if they're not good enough, so let's hope they're on the bench all night. If they are needed, obviously put them in. I made my debut just past 17th birthday. You know, by the age of 21, I'd played 100 odd games, you know, in the lower divisions. So I'm all for promoting the young players, and obviously the manager's got confidence in them. Otherwise, he wouldn't be anywhere near the first team squad, and he's been doing that all season, to be fair, even ever since he got the job. So he's got utmost confidence in the young players, and if they're needed, I'm sure they'll do some kind of job for us.
So what are you hoping to see tonight? Because Saturday was an off day, hopefully a blip. But I'm intrigued, and I put this to Billy Sharp when I spoke to him this week, because as just a fan, a follower of football, I find it difficult to fathom why an entire team, goalkeeper excused, can, as a collective, perform so badly all in one go. Why? Why does that happen?
I think that's just called football, isn't it? Sometimes there's no rhyme nor reason for it. We were actually well in the game for certainly the first half, and then 5-10 minutes into the second half, we had some decent chances. And it was an end-to-end game. They kept hitting us on the break in the first half. But after they scored the second goal especially, you know, we kind of collapsed, and it just went from bad to worse. And it's been a long, long time since I've seen a Sheffield United side just capitulate like that. And it looked like they were going to score at will for the last 15, 20 minutes. It was getting ridiculous, you know. Now, I will qualify that by saying, looking at some Coventry fan forums and listening to a few bits and bobs, the Coventry fans can't believe how well Coventry played that day. They did not see that performance coming. They've been playing well recently, and they played well but lost to Luton the game before. And it just seemed like apparently everything they tried came off. Certainly they ripped us apart up front. You know, Hare, the little number 10, apparently he's called the Jack Grealish of the Championship, which is news to me. But he was outstanding, and no one in our side got a grip of him. Norwood couldn't get near him. It's not really Norwood's game. Egan was preoccupied with Gyökeres, who was causing him all sorts of problems as a centre forward. And we just couldn't get to grips on at all, and they just kept cutting through us time after time. It was quite disconcerting, actually, you know, from being a Sheffield United fan, seeing how easily they cut through us.
Did it shock you, that performance?
It did, you know, certainly. I thought it was always going to be a tough game, and what I mean by that is on the back of the effort that the team put in against Forest and Middlesbrough. You know, two massive games, not only physically but mentally as well. You know, at home, two big games with teams around you. Yeah, Coventry, you know, they're loitering, you know, looking for them playoff places. I thought it was going to be a tough game, but certainly on the back of them two games, I just thought that them two games might have took its toll. But I think tonight as well. I think tonight's a big game. You know, it's easy to talk about bouncing back, but you know, we lost at Millwall, went to Coventry and got beat. And you know, Blackpool is a tough place to go. So I think it's about, you know, we can make excuses. You know, we've got injuries, etc. But the team is what it is. The squad is what it is. And I think the lads, you know, they've got to go again tonight, because it's important to go and get a result at Blackpool.
And United have had opportunities to knock other teams out of the playoff conversation, Coventry being one. Blackpool is another who will still feel they've got an outside chance. So a couple of things here. For United's own playoff prospects, surely a win is what they have to be looking at tonight, but also it could basically end Blackpool's hopes of getting there as well. So it knocks another team out of it. They've got to make the most of this opportunity, haven't they?
Yeah, you know, the cliches are, we need a performance, we need to bounce back from Saturday. Yeah, of course we do that, but as Morgs is intimating there, it's easier said than done. You're asking a lot of these players who've been playing week in, week out now, because there's no one else to play. We're asking them to go again and be inspired again and put on a performance like we have against Middlesbrough and just, you know, and grind out the result. And at some stage, you know, it's going to catch up on us, and I think we're in danger of it doing so. I tell you what, I'm glad there's an international break actually after Saturday's game, because I think out of all the teams in the division, we probably need it with the injuries and the runs we've had.
And Blackpool's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, they've done brilliantly this season anyway. Come up last year, you know, if the season ended now, they could be very proud of what they've achieved. 3 wins in a row, very strong at home. Tough place to go.
It is. Neil Critchley's done a fantastic job, and I was looking earlier on. They've won 5 out of the last 6 at home, only losing to Bournemouth. So that shows you how well they've done, and they are. It is one of them places. Over the years, it's always been a tough place to go, Blackpool, and it always seems to be a night game for us as well. I think the last few times, even when I was still playing, when we went across, they were night games. But yeah, I just think tonight, for me, it's a little bit of one of them sort of SAS type phrases. It's one of them: get in, get out, job done, get on the bus and go home. I think that's what we need to do tonight. Yeah. Just a professional performance, get a result. Don't matter how we get it. Let's just go and get a result.
United's recent form, it's a little bit patchy. I think we all remember the Middlesbrough game for the right reasons, obviously, but it's 2 wins in 5. Any concerns there? The away form's not great either. I don't want to be the harbinger of doom here, but the facts speak for themselves.
But we had that amazing run of clean sheets, and we just, we weren't letting in a goal for however many games it was, and 600 and something minutes. It was incredible. That was never going to keep going. We were going to let a goal in, and we were also going to have a few hiccups. So along the way, there was going to be a few bumps in the road. Last 10 games of the season, we may have another couple of hiccups. But we just, for me, I've been saying it for a while, we just have to look to the home games. The home games are going to be the key for us. Anything we can pick up away from home is a bonus, but let's focus. I'm not going to say don't focus on tonight, but I think we need to focus on the home games and win our home games.
I think we can just remind you of the league table, because obviously there were games that took place last night. Sheffield United in 7th, so a victory takes them back above Middlesbrough. And Queen's Park Rangers as well, depending on what QPR play tonight as well, don't they, I think. So a lot will depend on the QPR result, but certainly a win gets them back in the top 6. And it feels like that from week to week, in, out, shake it all about.
Does. Of course we're happy with the win, that'd be fantastic. But I can tell you right now, I would snap your hand off for a point this evening. As Chris says, let's grind something out, don't get beat and just come back.
You go along with that or not? Take a point? If I fit it you now?
Yeah, definitely. After the last few away games, and particularly with Blackpool's record at home, it's going to be a very, very tough game. So yeah, I'd take a point now, definitely. And I think just going back to the league table, I think QPR actually play Forest tonight. So that'd be a big game as well.
Yeah. In normal circumstances, if we had a full-strength squad, and we were talking about this earlier, it's a type of game where I would have put maybe Basham into midfield and gone with a real strong midfield. The defensive unit is hopefully will play a lot better than it did Saturday and be solid and secure. But a cold, wet, windy night in Blackpool, it's not going to be too pretty, I don't think. And I think it's a game for those type of players. We haven't got that option because we're down to the bare bones. So, it's a get out there and hope and pray tonight.
And not to Wes Foderingham, because, we were highlighting, the poor performance at Coventry, but he was the one player who probably emerged with any amount of credit, faced so many shots, and if it weren't for him, it could have been, 7, 8?
Yeah, he's proved himself no end out, recently. He's been absolutely superb. He makes save after save after save. He was a little bit unfortunate, actually, with 1 or 2 of the goals. The rebounds off the post, which he made a great save. But yeah, no question, he's the number 1 goalkeeper, and he's really proven his worth.
You like him?
Yeah, very much. I think his calmness, just how he goes about his work. He has a lot of modern goalkeepers now. Very good with his feet. He's confident on playing out. But I like the way he comes and claims crosses. And as an ex-defender, I think when you've got a keeper behind you that is calm, that gives calmness to you. And I just feel that's what he brings. He brings that to the team. Oh,
fingers crossed for another clean sheet for Wes Foderingham tonight. Just a reminder of that team news. One change, Hourahan out and Jai is in, but it's a very inexperienced bench for the Blades tonight. Kickoff 7:45, Blackpool against Sheffield United. Well, let's get it out of the way then. Let's look back at that game at Coventry at the weekend. If you don't want to watch it, just do this.
Gibbs White for United. Burgers peel wide. Gibbs White goes for goal. Takes a deflection. Hourahan's corner. Another deep one. Again, Egan coming round the back. That was a presentable opportunity for Egan. Arrowed in by Robinson. Flicked on. There is Billy Sharp at the far post. Drilled right across goal. Retrieved by Hourahan. There's Berger! Second in as many games for Sander Berge. Beautifully picked out of the back post. Perfect header. Great start to the game for the Blades. They lead by a goal to 0. Over the head of Robinson, and Gyökeres is through here for Coventry. And there's the equaliser. United done with the ball over the top, and Gyökeres onto it, quick as a flash. In goes the cross, a decent looking ball. Robinson almost got there. Norwood lays it off, and Hourahan. So Hourahan or Berge. Hourahan blocked on the line. Coventry City getting this second half underway. Here come Coventry again. Gyökeres again. Foreign gets a hand to it, off the post, and O'Hare surely. Has it gone over the line? Well, it has now. Coventry take the lead. Callum O'Hare with the final touch. But Gyökeres causing problems once again. Gyökeres still slides the ball in for O'Hare. That's brilliant. Callum O'Hare, his second goal. A tidy finish. Into Gibbs White. What can he do now? Dink ball over the top, looking for Sharp. Flicked away by Rose. Hourahan, saved by Moore. Still Maatsen into the area. O'Hare, and an easy goal for Godden. That's the fourth. Again, O'Hare at the heart of it, and Godden couldn't miss.
You're safe now, fellas. You can move your hands away. Look at these two. What a pair. What a pair. You'll never make it as actors, you two. Not particularly convincing, but no, the sentiment is there, isn't it? It's not a great watch back. It's a bit painful, but Chris, when you've had a result like that, how much time as a team would you spend analysing what went wrong?
I think not a lot. I think just get on with it. Because I think the team's done well. The team's picked real good results up, and I think sometimes you just get games like that. For one reason or another, you get games like that. And I think the more that you look at it and try and analyse, and did we do this? They probably, and Gage, Gage obviously covered the game, and like he rightly said, for 60-65 minutes, we're well in the game, and all of a sudden, just a couple of things can go wrong, or they get a couple of goals, like the one that hits the post and comes back off Wes, and I just think sometimes it's happened, and the best thing is we've got another game tonight. So I'm not saying you brush it under the carpet, but it's why keep going back to it? It's happened, done, dusted, park it, get on. Blackpool away Tuesday night. Great chance to put it out of the system.
Better to have another game then than a free week on the training ground, in your opinion?
Not in this situation, no. I think it's a real tough ask to go again on tonight. I'm concerned about it. So after a result like that, I think you don't need a game Wednesday, because yes, I use that cliche again. We're looking for to bounce back and make a performance, but it's a tough ask for the players to drag themselves up and go again. And after the season and the run of games they've had, I think in this particular situation, it would be advisable to maybe, and not at this stage of the season, but at this point in time, if it was earlier in the season, it would be advisable to look at that game and to see what went wrong. I've been in meetings with the Dave Bassett side, Dave Bassett squad. We've sat in front of a VHS video recorder, stopping and starting it and fast forwarding it, rewinding it, going on for 3-4 hours.
Betamax,
analyse probably,
not
yeah.
VHS, yeah. Betamax had to be.
So I think a free week would have been just nice, just to relax. I don't think another game after a performance like that this week is useful at all.
Is fatigue a problem at this stage of a season as well, for any player, not just these players at United?
Yeah, I mean, I listened to Mark Warburton's interview last night, driving to a game, and he was talking about the same things. Injuries, trying to stay in the playoffs, having to make changes, planning for the next game and the next game. And the games do, it's the championship. The games come thick and fast, particularly at this stage of the year. You look back to sort of the Christmas and the New Year, there was fixtures still being postponed through COVID, so people are still playing catch up. So yeah, of course fatigue comes in, and that's when you want to rely on your squad. But if the squad's not there with seniors, and I think that's why Paul won't linger around Saturday, because I think if he'd got maybe a a senior group, Gage, that you could say, right, listen lads, this isn't acceptable, you know, but there's a lot of changes to the team, so he probably, not that the lads are delicate, but I think there's enough things at this moment in time that are not there and have not gone right, so he's just thinking, you know, let's get on with it. It's a young group, fine, I don't want to bombard them with information, I don't want to bombard them going back over, you know, a 4-1 defeat at Coventry when that's not really been us.
Yeah. There's no option, is there? There's no alternative. You have to just go again. You have to get on with it. There's no point dwelling on it at all.
Training when they do train must be difficult at the moment. So many bodies unavailable. In terms of how that affects the intensity of the training sessions, it must be really light training at the moment.
There's no time to work on any shape or anything at all, to be honest, is there? You're just hoping people, you know, can get over the little knocks, and you just do a few refreshers and a few bits of loosened training, and you just go again, yeah.
Have you known anything like it in terms of injuries? Have you been part of a squad that's had so many injuries like United have got, which we'll look at later on because the list is frightening, but how does it affect you as a group when you turn around and you see so many players unavailable? Does that affect your confidence in any way?
I think it has to do, you know, particularly when there's so many key players, so many senior players, but then the other senior players that are in that 11, they have to come to the forefront. You know, the staff now are going to be looking at the seniors that are in the team and saying, you know, you're going to have to guide us, you're going to have to get us through this next period. And that's why, for me, it don't matter. Yeah, they played some excellent football, particularly at Bramall Lane. Now, in this period, it doesn't matter about how we do it, we've just got to go and get results. And that's why I'm a little bit surprised that we've gone with Njai and Gibbs-White. I thought we'd have gone with Connor as a solid 3 in that midfield, away from home, and said, right, let's go and get a result. Hey, you know, it might be a masterstroke from Paul. You know, he knows the players better than what we do. You know, and he might have seen a chink in Blackpool's armour that they might not be able to deal with them two. And hopefully that's right.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Seeing those. They have played together before, but I know a lot of my Blade supporting friends who aren't keen on Njai and Gibbs-White starting together. They feel they're a little bit too similar in terms of how they approach
it was
the
my
game.
first reaction when I saw the side, and I love them both as players. I love Njai. Yeah. I think he's brilliant. You know, I think he's a future superstar. Gibbs-White on Saturday, complete contrast from the Middlesbrough game. At the Middlesbrough game, every little flick and trick came off. He was on fire. Saturday, every flick and trick he tried went straight to the opposition, just gave the ball away, and they were just attacking us once again. So I sincerely hope he learns a lesson from that and just keeps the ball a bit more. And Njai's of a very similar ilk, isn't he? If it was a home game against Blackpool, then I can fully understand playing them both, you know. But an away game, hence my comment about I wish Chris Basham or someone was available to play centre midfield just to shore it up a bit. But yeah, as Morg says, let's hope they're both on fire, and they provide that spark, and they can do their stuff going forward. You know, they're not needed to be like a defensive midfield, solid kind of midfield.
Right, let's hear from the Blaze manager Paul Heckingbottom for the first time tonight. Looking back at that defeat at Coventry, he admits that everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Not one, yeah, but listen, we can have no complaints in terms of performance. Coventry were better than us, they defended better than us, they attacked better than us, and that's why they got the win.
Can you put your finger on why that materialised today?
No, if you're off it slightly in the Championship, you know you can come unstuck, and Coventry were excellent today. But we're prepared for an excellent Coventry, because I think they pose teams a lot of problems even when they don't get the results with how they play. Put the ball forward early, make you defend it, and then they've got bright players in around your box. But having said that, the nature of the goals we conceded were terrible. So regardless of how well someone's played, the nature of the goals we conceded were really bad.
And considering Sheffield United have looked as a unit so solid defensively, is it fair to say that an element of, well, certainly worry, if not panic, set in?
In the game? Listen, it was first half, nothing in it. I thought it was end-to-end, and I don't mind games when it is open, because I back our players. But after the second goal went in, another sloppy goal from our part, it just appeared that they did have more threat in and around the box when they went forward. And we couldn't muster enough threat at the other end. So from that point on, it became really difficult.
And from an attacking perspective, things just didn't happen, did they, today? Flicks that didn't come off, not much pressure was sustained.
No, we weren't good enough. The boys know that. We know that. They defended better than we did. They attacked better than we did, and that's why they won the game.
An honest and level-headed assessment there from Paul Higginbottom. These are just some of the players he's without. We'll add McBurney to that list, who's not available tonight, but that is a quite ridiculous injury list, isn't it? Basham, Bogle, Brewster, Good, Baldock, O'Connell, Stevens, Davis, Fleck, McGoldrick, McBurney. Some team that, when they're all fit.
They just need a keeper.
Yeah.
Not that I'm we don't want injuries to keepers,
right.
but
no.
That's all that's missing off there.
We're touching wood here. I'm going to ask you a question here. Kevin, if you could have any one of those injured players back and available right now, who would you pick?
Well, I've mentioned him already a couple of times. I'd go for Basham, to be honest. I think he epitomises everything that's good about Sheffield United, and nights like this, runs like this are made for Chris Basham. Chris?
I know it's a bit of a naughty question because you don't want to put any noses out of joint, but
no, Jack O'Connell.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's been a big miss, and I think as much as Jack Robinson's come in and done really, really well, Jack O'Connell has summed everything up that's been good about Sheffield United over the past few years. He's been a big miss, and a sad miss, and I think we all still, really hope and cross his fingers that he can make it back.
He was my second choice. It's those two by a country mile, to be fair. Right. It was either or, either or.
And Bash was my second as well.
Yeah, because he just brings that energy to the team, but his adaptability as well, I suppose, is Basham. That's the beauty of Basham. You can play him anywhere. You know what you're going to get from him.
We've been spoilt for the last 4 seasons watching our 3 centre halves, of which Basham and O'Connell were the outside centre halves, playing as virtual left wingers, left and right wingers. I mean, it's been unheard of,
Arblaster, we've heard a lot about. You've seen some of the other 23s, and just go back to that bench. Arblaster has been very well spoken about, very highly thought of. Do you know much about Willa Sula? You'll have seen for the under-23s a little bit, would you?
Willa Sula, if you see him tonight, I mean, we talk about Jebison being big and strong. Willa Sula, you can double that for Rasula. Very, very raw, but very strong and powerful. I think he's only 17 as well, 17, 18, something like that. But he's a real handful. Very, very, as I say, very inexperienced, very raw, but wow, he could be some player. But our blaster, I mean, Chris will know him as well. Very good technical young player. Very good ability on the ball. Only diminutive, not the biggest, but gets up and down the pitch. Fit, good future ahead of him.
You see much of these lads?
Yeah,
on your travels?
Loads and loads. Most of them from coming up through the 16s, seen them in the 18s, the 23s. I think, when Jack was academy manager, I used to speak to Jack regularly. He thinks Willa Sula and Daniel Jebison have got a chance of being this football club's front two. Eventually, he really believes in them, and both of them, again from a centre half's point of view, both big lads, both mobile. They can both shift. They're strong, and they can both score goals. Nix and Gomez. Again, I think one thing that they're bringing through the academy is players with a physical stature. Yeah. They're producing athletes. They're producing lads that are big, strong, and there's some good names. There's some good names for the future on that bench. And young Blaster is again captain the 18s. They think an hell of a lot about him.
Must be cold in Blackpool. Morgan Gibbs-White has got the snood on. I thought they might have been put back in the cupboard for now. I thought spring was on its way, but clearly it's a cold night in Blackpool. Roy Keane would not be impressed, would he? Let's try and lift your spirits a little bit after that defeat at Coventry at the weekend. We're going to dip into the archives. This is 3 years ago, the 16th of March 2019. Who could forget this game? What a belting game it was. And in fairness, Sheffield United had to soak up enormous amounts of pressure. This, don't forget, was the battle for promotion. Leeds and Sheffield United firmly ensconced in that. Sheffield United, I think it's fair to say, were a little bit under the cosh. Patrick Bamford blazing wide there. Leeds had so many chances in this game. I don't know whether you guys remember this. I'm sure you do.
I remember the iconic Basham goal.
Yeah, don't spoil it. That's coming up. We're building up to that.
We know what's coming.
Big crescendo. There's Tyler Roberts planting wide. McGoldrick here, I think, has a chance from a corner.
It's one of them. It's one of them games that when you end up winning it, you've been under the, particularly from a defender's point of view, you've been under the cosh all game, and they've had chances. They've had a couple where they should have scored, and then you go and nick the game, and it's obviously led to promotion. And it's one of them that sticks in your mind. It sticks in your mind that can you remember when we went to Leeds, because it was such a big game, local derby. But you remember it.
Yeah. Billy's been doing that all season, hasn't he? Holding the ball up so well and feeding players in. He's been absolutely brilliant in that, and that's the image that's been on thousands of cartoons and posters and memes, if you're into those kind of things.
But I love
him arriving.
Yeah, I love Bash to bits, but I think if he hadn't slipped and tackled the ball, I'm not sure actually he'd have scored from there.
Yeah, and it got worse for Leeds as well as they moved into stoppage time. Billy Sharp again causing problems. Goalkeeper, I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to do there, but Kiko Casilla seeing red. Leeds had 71% possession in that game, and Chris Wilder, I remember saying at the time, saying they were nowhere near their best, but it was all about digging in and getting the result. And it was a 7th successive clean sheet for Sheffield United at the time, and it moved United above Leeds into 2nd. So that was a fascinating run in to the season. It could be another exciting finish to the season as well, the way things are going and the way this league table looks. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, we just saw it there, and I realised how close Blackpool were to us, actually. I didn't realise they were close. I mean, you're right, if they get a result tonight and beat us, they're all of a sudden, they'll be harbouring ideas of playoffs, won't they?
Well, let's have a look at the team news. Let's remind you of it, shall we? Sheffield United playing at Blackpool tonight, 7:45 kickoff. And there it is, one change for the Blades tonight. Iliman Ndiaye comes in. His first start since Millwall away, I believe roughly about a month or so ago. So he's in, and Conor Hourihane is out. And I think we all think that maybe United are going to go with 2 number 10s and Billy Sharp down the middle.
And also, unfortunately, it looks like Sander Berg is going to have to play kind of a more holding role with Oliver Norwood, and we've all been raving about Sander getting forward on the right hand side and driving forward, and now it appears,
this proved at the weekend.
Yeah, now it appears he may have to be a little bit more conservative in his approach tonight.
Yeah, I watched the game at Derby, and Ollie and Sander played that day as a pair in the midfield, and the young three of Derby, Jason Knight, Max Bird and Liam Thompson, had far too much energy for us that day, and they literally ran all over us. I think the crowd were up that day.
I was there, yeah.
Yeah, they'd had the bad news, I think, Derby the day before, so the crowd were really up for the game, but I just remember them three up against Sander and Ollie. Them two couldn't cope with them, and I think probably a good, again, this is maybe Paul's chain of thought, that I think Blackpool go with a central 2 as well, in Kenny Doodle and Kevin Stewart, so it might just be sort of them two up against them two, and then if Morgs and Iliman are dropping in them spaces and them pockets, as people like to call it nowadays, that could cause problems for them.
Well, let's have a look at Blackpool whilst we're at it then. A couple of changes for them tonight. Thornley comes in and CJ Hamilton comes in as well. Other than that, it's as you were from the weekend. We expect them to go with 3 at the back. You'll recognise, of course, Gary Medine, who got the winner at the weekend against Swansea. Josh Bowler is the live wire. He's the player that a lot of people are talking about. Nottingham Forest have been pushing to try and sign him for months now, but they've managed to keep him up to this point. There's no one really that leaps off the page in terms of obvious talent, apart from Bowler maybe, but this is a great example of a group of players that have been together a bit with a manager who has a plan, and it's working.
I'm just running through my head, it's Coventry-ish. You can just see Medine being really up for tonight. For all good reasons. He hasn't got anything to really prove to us. He did really well for us when in his short spell here. But you just get the sense he's going to put himself about, and somebody might have had a word in his ear about how good the Coventry centre forward was, and maybe he can get some joy. Let's hope not, anyway.
Yeah, just looking through that list, you've got Jordan Thornley, ex-Sheffield Wednesday.
Yep.
Kevin Stewart had a trial here. CJ Hamilton was in my under-23s team here. CJ's a real quick winger type, and obviously, Big Gaz who's played here. So you've got a lot of players in there with probably things. Again, like Gage said, really Gaz hasn't got nothing really to prove, but you've just got a chunk of players in there that will probably want to play against Sheffield United and just have a little bit more edge to the game than what they normally would.
Well, this is the first of 2 big games this week, of course. Chris will be interested in the one coming up on Saturday. Barnsley are in town, 12:30 kick-off. We are on air from 11:30. Richard Graves and Carla Saba, and of course Kevin Gage, part of your team for that one. And looking slightly further ahead, after the international break, Sheffield United away at Stoke. Ashley Wilmot, David McGoldrick. Oh, I didn't know David was coming in. Brilliant. So Didsy, part of your team for that one, and Kevin Gage. So it'd be good to see Didsy on the telly. I wonder if he's getting paid as much as you are, Kevin. Probably not. Probably not.
Do we get paid?
Well, I do. I don't know about you.
It's news to me, Moose.
Look, you've had your fish and chips. What more do you want? Right, let's get an SUTV Live exclusive now, and let's hear from young centre-back Kacper Lopata, who's just been recalled from an impressive loan spell at Southend. But for him, how does it feel to be back?
Very good. I'm buzzing to be back and help the boys in any way I can.
When did you get the call to come back to Bramall? They must have been close to last week's game.
It was Thursday night, actually. Thursday night. I made the drive down on Friday morning, straight to training and straight to Coventry.
Tell us a little about your loan spell at Southend, 18 games down there. How good has that been for your experience?
I'd class it as a very successful loan. I loved it there. Everything about it was positive, and when I came in, we were in the relegation battle. Then we went 13 unbeaten, and I'm sure the boys will go on to do even better than they are now, and yeah, enjoyed it.
It's been quite a successful relationship, hasn't it? I know it's been spearheaded by Darren Curry, who was here last season, who's gone back to Southend then. One or two of you have gone down there and done really well.
Me, Neely, and Brunty as well. Neely's flying as well, he's doing really well. Obviously Brunty's at Notts County, but there's that relationship between Sheffield United and Daz, and he takes good care of us, and yeah.
Coming back to Sheffield United and having Paul Higginbottom and Jack Lester working with the first team now, how big a boost is that for you?
Yeah, 100%. They know all the younger boys inside and out, because Hecky's the one that brought me to this club, and they know what we're about and they know us really well. So yeah, just a pleasure to work with them.
There'll be Sheffield United fans watching this who have seen you a little bit this season in the League Cup, probably don't know too much about you. So tell us a bit about your backstory, how you came from Poland to Sheffield United.
So I was born in Poland, in Krakow. I moved to England when I was about 9-10. Played Sunday League football and signed for Brighton when I was 17. From Brighton I joined Sheffield United, came to the 23s and pushed on.
And looking ahead now for the rest of the season, you're with the first team squad. There perhaps could be opportunities before the end of the campaign to play at first team level. How much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, 100%. I'm here to push on. I'm not here to make numbers, and I think that's the message that Hecky gave to me. If I work hard and I show my best in training, then there's no reason why I can't get an opportunity, as we've seen with the other younger boys as well. Yeah,
when you looked at the bench on Saturday, you were probably looking right and left, and there's familiar faces there. It's good that there's opportunities for all kinds of youngsters here at Sheffield United. Yeah,
obviously there's injuries and whatnot, but when the chance comes, we just got to step up.
That's Kacper Lopata, who's among the Blades' bench tonight. Billy Sharp, of course, starts, Sheffield United's leading goal scorer. He says tonight's game at Blackpool is huge, not just for their own chances, but it's an opportunity to effectively kill Blackpool's hopes of getting in the playoffs this season.
We could have almost put Coventry out of it, and we didn't, which they're still in it, and it's another game where we'd like to think we could put space between us and Blackpool, but they're obviously going to think that this is a game where we can claw it back a little bit. So I expect it to be another end-to-end game. I'm sure the wind will be swirling like it always is, and they'll be right up for it because, like I say, they're still in with a chance. So we need to make sure that we're ready and put in a performance more like we did against Middlesbrough than we did against Coventry.
Beat you here, of course. A warning there that if you're not at it, you can easily take a tumble.
Yeah, the manager keeps saying that to us. When you're on, like, not many people can match you, and when we do have an off day, it gives an opportunity for teams to get the tails up, and that's exactly what happened against Coventry. And like I say, hopefully 5 or 6 of us had the off day and it came at once, and we can put that behind us now and move on, like I say, go on another unbeaten run like we was before.
International break coming up. How important is it to go into that fortnight on the back of 2 positive performances now?
Yeah, I just wanted to get that little bit of a breather so we could go away from home, get the point, and then win his home games. I think for 2-3 months now we've been having to win games, and we went there on Saturday to try and win the game like we always do. And I'm sure that's what we're going to do on Wednesday night. So if we can get 6 points from the next 2 games, we'll be delighted with what's gone on before it, and we'll be in pole position to achieve what we want to achieve with, what will it be, 8 games to go. So the last part to dig in, and hopefully can end it on a successful season for us, for everyone.
He's going to score tonight. You heard it here first. Kevin, it's about time we let you go and get ready for your commentary, but how are you feeling about this one?
I said before, I'm apprehensive. I'm still apprehensive here now. I'll be skipping for joy leaving this studio if we get a point tonight.
OK, I'm not going to push you any more than that. Let's see how it goes. So we'll let Kevin wander off and get ready for the game tonight, which is just a few moments away. But let's squeeze in another interview with the Blades boss, Paul Heckingbottom, on what he expects from the players tonight.
What we've seen the previous however many games, you know, put the Coventry one aside, but it is a reminder there's going to be similarities. Blackpool, they may make passes at the back, but predominantly then they'll look to go forward and hit Medine, and there's runners off that. Coventry's problems, what they caused us when they was very direct, might have been a different outlet with pace, but it's certainly about the first ball and the second ball. And this Blackpool side on Wednesday night, that's how they've been posing problems, along with how and where they've won the ball back and the set plays. So it's going to be a good test.
They've had a great season, haven't they?
Great
Blackpool,
season.
no matter what happens from this point, to get the amount of points they've got.
Yeah, and they're on a good run. I think Neil's team's evolved over the season, so I thought they had a real good start, which, again, speak from experience, I think you could put a lot of that down to that newness, freshness, excitement and the energy that brings. And then credit to Neil, his team's evolved over the following months to a point now where I'm seeing a good balance to it, and a couple of changes he makes tactically still pose the same threats, but he does them then to try and adapt to the opposition and still pose the same threats, like I say. So I think the team's evolved to a place now where, yeah, you can see why they've won the last 3.
Is he someone that you've crossed paths with throughout your coaching journey at all? Someone you know?
Only conversations, not against each other or anything like that, only conversations. So, yeah, it was interesting to see how we did. Obviously, they got the promotion last year. As I said, this season, because I've been in and around the league, it's been easy for me to follow how they've done, and I've been impressed.
Well, as you can see, the players are coming out at Bloomfield Road. And before we hand you back to commentary, just a reminder that you can get your match pass right now from the website sufc.co.uk, and you can enjoy 4 camera coverage of this game. Quick thought from you, Chris. Prediction? What do you reckon?
Take a point now on the bus. Look forward to Yorkshire Derby on Saturday.
SAS job.
Correct.
Get it in, get out, job done, go home. Right, let's hand you to our commentary team then tonight. Kevin Gage and your commentator, Matt Young.
2 games remain before the international break. As United punched up side, look to back